Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you for clicking on to this link. Peace be with you. God's peace be with you. I don't know what's happening in your world right now, whether it's a coup is going on right now, or whether you're just being ground down by the pandemic, whether you're waiting for news, or whether it's just the same old that you're carrying. Whatever is going on right now, breathing God's peace, breathing God's grace, it never goes away. This is a short reflection for the second Sunday of Epiphany, and there's two scriptures that really speak to me very powerfully for this Sunday. Psalm 139 and John chapter 1 verses 43 to 51, the story of Nathanael meeting Jesus. It's an Epiphany gospel, and that's an Epiphany psalm. Lord, how do you know me? Nathanael's question to Jesus. How do you know me? You might know Jessie Burton's novel, The Miniaturist. About 2 Christmases ago, it was serialised on the BBC, and it was done very, very well. The Miniaturist is a story that maps out the epiphany that occurs when we truly begin to see another soul. In the story, The Miniaturist, there's this pastor, this church leader called Pastor Pelicorn. And Pastor Pelicorn says, God sees through every keyhole, and booms it out. But so does the Miniaturist. The Miniaturist is an artist who makes models of houses and animals and people, and her creations shock and scare her customers with their astonishing detail. It's like the Miniaturist knows everything. Secret, hidden things that no one could possibly know. And people wonder if she's a witch. But the real magic of the story is not how the Miniaturist gets to know other people, but how the main characters do. When Nella, there's this young bride called Nella, she first meets the family she's marrying into, the Brandt family. She meets like her husband Johannes, his sister Marin, and there's 2 servants, Otto and Cornelia. She is just frozen. She's oppressed by this family's coldness and their secrets and their strangeness. But over the course of just a few weeks, Nella falls in love with every member of this family. Pastor Pelicorn thinks that if we could only see into each other's lives, we'd flee with shock and disgust. But that's not what happens here. Nella gets to see the shame behind Johannes, her husband, his professional surface, behind his elan and his confidence. She sees the frailty behind that and the frailty behind the austere Marin, and she glimpses through the protective layers of Otto and Cornelia, the servants. And at first, what she sees, it does break her. But in the end, what comes from this seeing is not disgust, but love. Over the period of just a few weeks, the Brandt family gets to know each other's weaknesses and brokenness, and it takes them to a whole new level of intimacy. This dysfunctional family begins to love, touch, shelter one another in a way that you would not have thought possible at the beginning of the story. the epiphany of truly beginning to know someone, not like just knowing a load of facts about them, but really knowing somebody. 20 years ago, the American psychologist Arthur Aaron published the results of his amazing 36 questions experiment. And after going through a set of 36 questions followed by 4 minutes of silent eye contact, participants who had not previously known each other reported astonishing levels of bonding and connection. So the 36 questions these total strangers asked each other were things like, what's your most treasured memory? For what are you most grateful in your life? And questions like, when did you last cry in front of somebody? And questions like, when was the last time you sang to yourself? And what did you sing? Excuse me. And the answers to these questions and the silent eye contact that followed, 4 minutes, just looking into someone else's eyes, well, that led people to fall in love, become lifelong friends, and even marry. The shared intimacy of actually glimpsing in to another person's soul was epiphanic. It was an epiphany. Each person is a universe, and that universe is not a collection of facts and biographical information. Each person is this mystical, this inexpressible, this spiritual creation, and you can only begin to know it through love. Lord, you have searched me out and known me. Psalm 139. The epiphany of knowing, the epiphany of being known. The psalm for this Sunday, Psalm 139, is all about this. Lord, you know me. You know my getting up. You know my sitting down. You know my journeys. You know my triumphs. You know my secrets. You know my shames. You knew me in the womb. You know everything. And your knowing, your gaze, sets me free. Psalm 139 is one of the great celebrations of divine intimacy. It's someone realizing the deep truth. We are both known and loved in the most profound way possible by the God who made us. How does God know you? In a way that is nothing like the prying idol of Pastor Pelicorn's faith. God sees through every keyhole. It's not like that. God knows you truly, deeply, as a living, feeling, hurting, needing human soul, made in his image, never to be seen again through all the ages of time. There will literally never be another you. Yes, God sees the broken and the shameful stuff, but he also sees the soul that he breathed into existence. Identity is not the same as biography. And what God has come to do is set your identity free. And so that the truth of who you are will align with the way of how you are, and there will be wholeness. The truth of who you are in the image of God, will align with the way of how you are, and there will be wholeness. Nathanael's Epiphany. There's passages in the Gospel where virtually nothing is said and everything is said, and just there's this brief exchange between people. It happens in a number of places, like between Jesus and Zacchaeus, and Jesus, the woman at the well, these epiphanies. And something passes between Jesus and the other person, and just the words exchanged just don't begin to touch it. Something passes between them, and there's an epiphany, and there's a knowing. So this magic, this inexpressible wonder happens in the encounter between Jesus and Nathanael. As the eyes of Jesus gaze upon Nathanael, Nathanael says, "How do you know me?" "Nathanael, I've always known you." "Rabbi, you are the Son of God." "Nathanael, I will show you angels." And there it is, the epiphany, in about 3 sentences. "Rabbi, how do you know me?" "Nathanael, I've always known you." "You are the Son of God." "Nathanael, I'm going to show you angels." This, like 3 little sentences. When you truly come to know someone, you're standing on holy ground. You should take your shoes off. When you come to know someone, it's like you've always known them. Coming to know the ever-present Christ is like that. A Russian writer called Dostoevsky, and he has this mystical kind of encounter with Christ, and there's 2 things he says about it. One, he says his face was so ordinary. And the second thing he says is, "But I've always known that face." Coming to know the ever-present Christ is like that. You know him. You've always known him. You always will know him. May that truth, that epiphany, begin to set you free. Through the service and all the cracks, he has always known and always will know you. May that epiphany set you free. It's yours to receive.